You have my respect, Stark. When I'm done, half of humanity will still be alive. I hope they remember you. Stop! Spare his life, and I will give you the stone.
What is going on, guys? Chris with Jerno's Comics and Pop Culture. I don't know why anyone has never brought this up before, but I think it's time that I address this because it's been on my mind for so long. When you're looking at what went down in Avengers Infinity War here and why Doctor Strange gave up the Time Stone in order to save Tony's life, I think after seeing Endgame now and understanding how it all played out, it is safe to say that Doctor Strange knew that that one chance out of 14,605,000 of winning had to be if Tony Stark lived. Because in order for that to happen, Tony Stark would have had to be there in 2023 to facilitate the events that eventually led to Tony Stark sacrificing himself to beat Thanos. So basically, the way you look at this, and this is why Doctor Strange knew that Tony was going to die in Endgame, is because if Doctor Strange did not look at those 14,605,000 scenarios, Tony Stark would have died right here at this point in every single one of those, in every single one. So the only way for that one to happen was for Tony to live. And if again, if Doctor Strange never actually sat there and used his magic to be able to foresee into the future, he saw that Tony had to be there. Now, let's go back to earlier in Infinity War, this film here, when he sat there on the ship, on Thanos' ship, telling Tony that if it came between him or the kid, speaking of Peter Parker, or the stone, that he wouldn't hesitate to let them die. So why did he switch it up? Why did he switch it up here? And the only reason is because he realized that it's Tony's life that gave them that one chance. Now, if you fast forward to Endgame, when Banner was talking to the Ancient One, and at first she said, maybe I made a mistake, and she was in shock to why Doctor Strange would give the Time Stone away. But I think you could kind of see when she gives Banner the stones and realize and said that, maybe he knew what he was doing, that he was able to foresee. Also, I know that it's been said that the Ancient One couldn't foresee the fates of, or the fate of the of Infinity War play out, or even Endgame play out, because she died, and you cannot see past your own death. So again, all angles point to the fact that Doctor Strange knew this whole time, and I think you got to look back at Endgame in that final battle scene, where Doctor Strange puts up the finger, saying, "Here it is, Tony." I think, without being said, that's that was a moment where Tony realized himself that Doctor Strange knew all along that Tony had to sacrifice himself. Because at that point, Tony knew. He knew what needed to be done. Thanos was gathering the iron gauntlet, the Iron Man gauntlet with all the stones again, and Tony knew that I need to get those with my nanotech off away from Thanos. I'm the only one here. And by Doctor Strange looking at him, it was like it was unspoken, but it was like, I'm sorry, Tony, but this is it, and yeah, this is your fate. So you can really see it in his face. And another example And I wish I can bring this video back around and show you guys the deleted scene. But I think they show his face in Endgame as well. But you see it even more in the deleted scene where they're kneeling after Tony's death, and you could see it in Doctor Strange's face. And it's hard to put into words, but it's that he feels remorse because he had to hold this in. He could not tell Tony or anyone that you're sacrificing your life. And you go back to saying to him, telling Tony when Tony asked in Endgame, is tell me this is our one chance. If I told you, it wouldn't happen. I mean, you could take that two ways. You could take it as, one, as kind of your standard future telling way of if you know the outcome, it changes it. But I also think there was a deeper sentiment there of if I told you, like, you know, that it's going to take you to sacrifice yourself. Who knows? Maybe Tony would have got overwhelmed. Uh, who knows how it would play out at that point? But so the moral of the story here is that this really shows Doctor Strange in such a poignant light of having to carry such a burden of knowing that Tony Stark had to die. And in order for that to happen, he had to save him right here. So I really don't know if people really caught on to that because, like I said, I watch a lot of YouTube, and I read a lot of articles that are published, and nobody has really addressed this. Nobody has really addressed this fact. I haven't heard anybody talk in regards to this. So I needed to make this video today to address that. Let me know what you guys think. Have you guys had that kind of sitting in the back of your heads that he saw Tony's death and knew that he needed to spare them? Because I know we were sitting there for a year between Infinity War and Endgame, and even after Endgame. Why did Doctor Strange spare his life, spare Tony's life after he said he wouldn't? So there it is. That puts it all in context. I think it really speaks much more to the dynamic of these characters, and it adds a real deep emotion that makes me as a fan connect to these characters within this storyline and the arc and how it played out much more. So with that being said, guys, let me hear your guys' comments, feedbacks, opinions. Drop a line. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so. Thank you for watching. And until next time.